Okay. Um, okay. What legal decisions and or classroom decisions we made for this case? Esther was put in special education classroom full time, and then what procedures illustrated the best practice, and what procedures illustrated less than the best practice. The best practice was the professionals tried to gather as much information that they could about Esther's history and academic understanding, but they couldn't include Esther in the decision making. And then the last question for the general assessments is, what was the assessment consisted with appropriate ethical conduct expected from professionals? Um, there were many things that were consistent with the expected conduct. The parents were very influenced, and their experiences and views were respected and taken into consideration. There was some inconsistency because the professionals didn't try to keep Esther in the education classroom with new modifications and accommodations to help her before moving her into a special education classroom. She probably needed more help than just special education. She probably needed some counseling for the passive use, social situations, to grow more comfortable in English and in conversation and everything that she needed.
And then we move on to test issues. Number one, the question is it acceptable practice to administering form assessments, etc., like WISC 3 to a child who has been in the United States for 1 year and who did not attend school in Mexico? Why or why not? Yes, since our answer was yes, since assessment is meant to evaluate what the children knows and doesn't know, it can be a way to see what the child needs. But if the assessment shows huge areas of struggle for the student, a plan should be made to help the student succeed rather than just assuming that the child can't do it. Accommodations and extra help should be given as needed, language, oral, and specifically, etc. So with that one, we all agreed that it is okay to take testing even though they've been here for a year or two, from another country, to see where they are placed, and it will be answered more in the following questions. Question 2, are current assignment results based by Esther, cultural background and or original language? How do you know? And our answer was, I don't know if they are biased. I don't know if the assignments were given in Spanish or English. If they were given in English, then they were biased because Esther would struggle in her second language. The results. If they were given in Spanish, it could show her general struggle with the language. So we said that that if Esther took the test, if she took it in Spanish, then it wouldn't be biased because she would able to understand, and we would see where she is and if it's just a language struggle. But if she took it all in English, then we would have a hard time figuring out what she actually needed and what her struggles and weaknesses are, because it was in English, and English is their second language.
The third question is, based on the assessment information, describe Esther's current level of functioning. Overall, Esther is very below her grade level and where she needs to be for her age. Her strengths, though, are the visual perception of concrete relationships, verbal reasoning, also social interactions were average, because those were things that were emphasized in her orphanage. Esther's weaknesses, though, are long-term recall, factual information, mental arithmetic, short-term auditory recall, visual concentration, and visual motor sequences. She is below average of her age group on verbal performance skills, academic and language skills, but she is also still average in daily living skills and socialization domains, which, like I said before, were emphasized in the orphanage she lived at. Question number 4 says, does Esther have the disability of mental impairment? If so, what evidence supports this conclusion? If not, why? Or if not, why not? This is something that we did discuss a lot. Some people thought that she did have a mental impairment, others thought that it was more of just a lack of having been taught those things, those skills that would help her seem like she was at her grade level. The conclusion we came to is that we just don't have enough information to be able to really decide whether that is mental disability or just more of a delay in her learning and development. So we need more information, more explanation of the assessment results and things like that to be able to better understand if there is a mental impairment.
And with other assessment issues, to describe what we knew about Esther's original culture and language background, we decided that it probably was extremely hard for her to learn to speak and learn in general, because of her mother being so uncaring and neglectful, preferring her daughter to stay silent. If a child doesn't hear a conversation and can't participate in it, their language ability suffers. Esther probably didn't have a chance to really learn since she had to grow up so fast. She learned real life skills and hard lessons rather than letters and numbers. Esther is probably suffering from lasting issues from being abandoned and abused. For question number 2, describe what you know about Esther's assimilation into her adopted culture and language. Esther is assimilating with her family well, but is still unfamiliar with the culture. She dealt with a lot of physical abuse just because, due to abuse and abandonment. She has a lazy eye which can be fixed with glasses. Number 3, how does Esther's regular education 3rd grade teacher feel about teaching Esther, and why? How the teacher does not want to help Esther, but feels overwhelmed because she feels she can't give Esther the attention that she needs is tough. But she is frustrated because she doesn't know how to help Esther.